let's do the Nelson one, and then Alzu, we'll get to yours. I think you're the one that sent the New Mexico replay, so we'll get to that one next.
Okay, I'm actually watching the video on one device while listening to you on Discord in the other.
Wow.
Because because the Discord is set up on one device and that can't multitask.
All right. Well, then there you go. Well, I appreciate the effort, man. Okay, so you are using the Restless Fire camo. Interesting choice.
Yep. I'm not seeing the game.
There's a 20-second. There's a 20-second delay. So.
All right.
If there's a part in the replay that you think is crucial and you want to catch up, so to speak, let me know. I can slow the game down, and I could even bring it to a full pause,
Sure.
kind of like it is now. That way you can kind of catch up and see what I'm seeing. There's no other way to do this other than if you wanted to load the replay yourself on your computer, and then we synchronize like when we start it. So
that's right. Okay, I can see.
It's up to you.
See my Nelson now.
So, you know, if you're okay with the 20-second lag delay, then this is probably the easiest way to do it for both parties. But so you have a
no, that's good.
Okay, so you've got Restless Fire camo. For everybody that doesn't know, that's 250% bonus to Commander XP. So you're grinding Commander XP on this setup. Is that correct?
I am indeed going for the first 19-pointer.
Oh, first one, nice. Okay, so you're using Equal Speed Charlie London, which helps. You've got Hydra Flag, which helps. Do you have any Dragon Flags?
I do. I used a whole bunch of them in the first sort of 500,000 points or so, and I'm saving the rest for the home stretch.
Okay. A suggestion is this is a personal thing for me. When I do flags and stuff, I go all in. So if I'm gonna run Equal Speed Charlie London, if I'm gonna write especially a Hydra flag, or Hydra, and I'm gonna run a XP camo for Commander XP, then I'm also going to run a Dragon flag here, maybe a Red Dragon because that adds Commander XP as well. The free XP flags aren't that important. And the credit flag, you've got a credit flag here. I would probably drop that in favor of a Dragon flag. Unless you need
I've only got a couple of dozen of those left, so I'm guarding them jealously.
Yep. One thing you could also do is once you get to that 19-point captain, that's when you grind that Commander XP because that becomes Elite Commander XP, and which is then transferable to anything else, and you can do that. At the same time, there's a 200% bonus, which I'm guessing that's what this one is. It was your 200% or 100% first win bonus, so that helps. But when they do special commander events like 50% commander XP, all of this stacks incredibly well with that. So, you know, that might be a consideration too, to focus on those. Personally, when I get 100% or 200% XP first wins, I'm focused more on grinding free XP than commander XP. That's just how I do it.
Just briefly, 212th, this is another Australian, you see, although living in Canada. So it's a bit of both worlds.
There you go. Edge case.
Yeah, no, that's...
Go ahead.
This is, yeah, I've got some pretty good XP hauls on some premium days I've won recently, so I know how to maximize it. The trick is having the flags to do so.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. The credit reduction flag, personally, I wouldn't run that on a tier 7 premium ship. I would hold those for tier 9, 10.
Yeah, I don't have any of those at the moment, so I'm trying to maximize my credits to buy new ships. I got a bit low.
Right. But you'll find with tier 9 and especially 10, it costs you a ton of money to be able to run those ships, especially if you don't have premium, so that's where the credit reduction comes in really handy.
Oh god, yes. I considered buying Neptune once a little while ago, and then I shied back because it would cost me just about everything I had, and I've had nothing to cover the losses. Gotcha.
So this is a Nelson tier 7 premium ship. It's a free XP ship. It's got 16-inch guns, as you can see, 3 turrets. They're only facing the front, so it's really hard to run away from people and shoot them, because you can only hit them with your secondary guns in the back.
Oh yeah.
This thing's got incredible penetration with those 16-inch guns, almost too much to where you overpen cruisers all the time, and it gets really frustrating. And you have to be really careful with this ship showing too much side. Even something like this, you can get citadeled, but showing like this, oh boy. I mean, this whole part of is citadel, and you'll lose a lot of hit points from doing it. Now, there are a couple of characteristics about this ship that make her unique. The main one is repair party. It's got the British cruiser repair party, so it's like the really big heal, the same kind that you get in the Conqueror and Lion, the tier 9 and 10 British battleships. So you can take a lot of damage, and you can just, you know, get a new ship. But if you show too much side, take too many torpedo hits, that's not gonna come back.
Nope.
So you're in a tier 8 battle, so you're middle tier. You've got a Richelieu that's going to play similar to you. You've got a KG5 that can burn you down, but you don't care because you've got super heal. The Nysa now can do a lot of dirty things to you if you show too much broadside. And New Mexico and Fuso could if you show a lot of broadside as well.
I don't like Fusos because they've got that disgustingly long range.
Yes. Benson and Fusion can both stealth torp, and oh, it's PNG Ace Pilot. Okay, so we know him. We've seen him before. He's been in our Discord a lot, and I mean, so torpedo threat is pretty significant. I'd say more significant than the battleship threat in this game. Oh boy, you've already lost the destroyer. Oh, Ace is down. Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second. You're going to catch up in a moment. Watch how you aimed at that Mogami. Okay, did you see how you were aiming?
I'm having a few video troubles here. You'll have to be a little more explicit.
Okay, as you aimed right at the Mogami, straight if he was going to straight line right into your shells. The problem is the moment that just before you fired, he started turning away. So these shells are not going to hit.
No, yeah, I seem to be having a few accidents in these. The problem with cycling through the first wind bonuses is that you never stay in one ship long enough.
Yeah. Yep, and then you lose the feel for the ship. I completely understand that because that's how I play too. Uso sitted your Nelson from 21 kilometers away, Captain. That is definitely salt-worthy.
Yeah, I picked this game because it was one that did not end well and had a lot more lessons to learn.
Makes sense. Now, your Otago's running away, which makes sense. He got focused heavily and he's trying to heal himself back. You are now kind of turning away as well, and I would caution you against doing that, simply because you've got a large force that is coming your way. So what I would like to see you do in this situation right now, instead of turning away and flipping your guns, is to go out to the sea, on the sea line to like 9-10 line, and then turn down it. Because what you'll do from that is you'll get those broadside shots on like the Otago, the King George, and stuff like that, because they are going to be forced to angle in to your Queen Elizabeth and your Nagato and whatever else is over there. And you can see how long it's taking you to get your guns back on target now.
Yes, I know. I sort of figured that you were going to mention this because I've had that trouble a couple of times since I sent you this replay. And the turning it, the judging the turning towards rather than the turning away is going to be a thing for me.
Yeah, it all comes down to what your team is doing. If they all ran away, if there was like one ship and then the Otago and that's it, by all means, you know, do what you're doing now. But you're in a position where you're at a pretty strong flank here, And you're going to give that up by turning back in. If you look at the angle now that you're presenting the enemy, that your firing angle itself, all your shots are coming in along roughly the same axis as that Nagato that just died and as the Queen Elizabeth, meaning that those battleships only have to angle to you and that's it. Had you stayed on the sea line, went 9-10 line, you could have punished that Atago that just totally wrecked your Farragut and whatever else it was that was over there too. Okay, so now you have a Queen Elizabeth and a Tirpitz that are advancing along that flank line, and here's where, at this point, you've now traded positions with those battleships. You're going to want to turn into kind of that southern island there to keep them from pushing. You've already got your guns looking right at that spot, which is good, but I think here you want to turn in steeper and get closer to the action because you need to present and project your power. Right now, you're projecting the power of, I'm a sniping battleship, you don't have to worry about me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Pretty decent hit on the new mechs there. Does your captain, I'm guessing this is your cruiser captain that you're working up?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
At some stage, possibly after this game, I got the extra point that I needed to give him expert marksman.
Got it. That will help.
I'm just thinking, because he also goes into the war spite, and I'm just thinking of what I'm going to do with those last 4 points once I've snagged them all. Right.
And that's going to take you an awful long time, so you have plenty of time to think about that.
I've knocked off 500,000 since the end of July, and I've got just under 500,000 to go.
Right.
So progress has been rapid. My next plan, once the stream is done, my plan for this evening is to knock over the rest of Science of Victory, get myself 7 days of premium, and get it done.
Sounds good. Although you might want to consider holding off on getting those 7 days of premium until there's an actual special bonus for Commander XP or like a first win bonus or something like that, because then that goes in line with the premium time. Just a thought.
I've got a week to myself with evenings free, so there is no better time.
Well, that's also a consideration. Believe it or not, I actually haven't finished Science of Victory because I've been holding off on when I want to redeem those 7 days of premium.
I should have ground almost to the end and then accepted the last mission when I wanted it, but I'm just going to do the 5-module breakage over and over again.
Gotcha. Now, take a look at the ebb and the flow of the battle. I mean, your entire flank has now died, and that's a big part because you were so far back you weren't able to impact the battle at all. And obviously...
Mea culpa.
I'm sorry?
Mea culpa.
Yeah.
My fault.
Right. And you're also like, you know, if you look at your damage numbers at this point, it's halfway through the battle, you're only at about 26k because you took a couple of opportunity shots, but you weren't able to just really dig in with your guns. So for you and what I saw, I think the key thing is going to be to either stick with the group, or if you want to kind of go off and do your own thing, that's fine too. But look for opportunities to be working with that group that you're you know, on the flank with, and find ways to help them. Unfortunately, the Queen Elizabeth and Tirpitz went the exact same direction, so they got focused down because, again, you know, similar firing angles like I mentioned before with you. Now, it's a cyclone. Generally speaking, when you have a cyclone, you want to get buddied up with somebody else. So you've got a hipper coming. What I would be doing is I'd be communicating with that Hipper, telling him I'll run with you, that kind of stuff, and saying basically, you know, let's hit this together, and maybe even turning around with the Hipper, because you know the new Mex is probably just blindly pushing into your cap right now. You have a good opportunity to catch the New Mexico off guard by turning around and kind of like just sailing straight into him. Mogami, Cleveland, Otago, look, from their last known position and orientation, it's hard to tell if they're going to push up. You've got a Gneisen out. Never mind, he just got spotted, but it looked like he might go down into the mid. So here's where, oh, yeah, here's where you'd want to turn and get in line with that Hipper.
If I remember correctly, this is where things are about to get exciting.
Well, of course. I mean, it's the end of the battle. You know at least where one of the enemies is, and they're gonna have to deal with you at some point. So, okay, Benson is spotted, and here's where if you were running with that Hipper, your guns would come in really handy right now. So let me ask, what's going through your mind when you're going off into so much of a distance like this, and now you're finally starting to turn in? What's what is your thinking process in this?
Right now, my thinking process was, oh shit, there's a cyclone I wasn't taking attention of, and I can't see to shoot anything. And things are going to get hairy, and now there's a ship in my cap.
Gotcha.
Time to go in and try to redeem my previous failures. Unfortunately, they have somewhat more ships than we do.
Right. And that's, a big part of that was with your absence on that flank at the start. Those are guns that they don't have to deal with until, well, now. Okay, I'm going to pause it here for a second. We see this often, or I see this often. Here comes a Mogami coming this way. He's not looking at you. He's at an angle. He's not at a steep angle to you or whatnot, but he's at one of those angles where it's very possible your shells are going to bounce or miss. So you have to aim very carefully here. What you want to do is you want to hit towards the bow underneath like that second turret. That's probably the best chance to get a Citadel hit on him. Going for like the engine area and stuff is going to be hard.
Here comes... So I dealt with one. Here comes the second.
Sounds good. Alright, let's see how you aim and let's see where the shots go. Personally, I would think that's a little high, but dispersion can help you. Priority target is picked up, so now you know somebody's looking at you. It just went away, and what that tells me is the Mogami is probably firing torpedoes at you. So he targeted you, he switched to torpedoes, he built an angle, and now came back up. So what that tells you is that he fired those torpedoes, and now he's getting ready to follow up with guns. And there they are. So when that happens, turning in is a good idea, especially with the Nelson, because you've got these, all your business is up front. Ooh, big hit. And then if the other thing you can do is slow down, because a lot of times people don't factor that in when they do their torpedo spreads. Cleveland's an example of these 16-inchers just over-penetrating, especially this close. You almost want to shoot at him when he's like looking right at you and angled towards you, so this actually helps you out. There's the 24 damage. I don't know that you needed to fire all 3 turrets on him, but I guess you wanted him dead. And now you're looking just a little surrounded.
Yep. And bye-bye, Cleveland. Hello, Benson.
Right. Now you have to be careful with the Benson. Oh, nice hit. Because at that angle he's at and the fact that you're going the way you're going, it's very easy for him to drop torpedoes.
Yeah, no, I'm very conscious. I was very conscious of that when he was coming in.
Oh, just when you were about to get super heal number 2 up.
Yep.
And my game crashed.
As it does.
Yeah. So, for you and for everybody else,
this is what happens when you deal with creatures from Deep Relay.
what would you guys recommend, those of you in chat, and you know, Cthulhu, for you, what would you do differently next time? What are some things that you're taking away from this experience?
Well, I was going to be playing either one of my battleships to try and ground out those module breakage missions, but I think it's going to be the Nelson, and I think I'm going to be working a lot on my positioning.
Absolutely, yes. I'm going to reload the game for a second. Go ahead.
Possibly taking unconscionable risks. Get teammates and try not to suicide. Yeah.
I just read that too. Here's the thing that I've discovered playing randoms is that you can't, and ranked to a certain extent, you can't depend, of course, on your teammates necessarily to do what you think they're going to do. And so I think one of the important skills in this game is learning how to get shot at but not get killed.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nelson AP surprisingly weak. Use more HE. Everybody tells me. Everybody tells everybody. I hate British battleships that use HE.
So, fun story about my Nelson. I'm having problems with my game, by the way, so I apologize for that, guys. It's like trying to switch to it, and then it's just exiting out of it. Oh boy. Yeah, what the hell? Okay.
HE is Nelson's strength. Yes, indeed. I will load more.
Yeah, I have IFHE on my Nelson captain because I just throw my Velson captain on him. And it's kind of fun because you don't have to worry
What does
about
IFHE do for a caliber like that?
Well, I mean, it makes it so that you pen just about everything without worry. What the hell is up with this? Okay. I am evil, thank you. I'm gonna try